me, but I'm just going to throw it on my channel anyway, because there's probably going to be some other people that are interested in Glacial Cascade. So I'm just going to be testing out some of the different AoE configurations to give you guys an idea of how much the AoE of the skill is buffed in 2.6. Right now this is the 3.0 beta. I don't think there's any changes to the area that have been made to the skill, but I don't think a lot of people have really used the skill since prior to 2.6 because it just wasn't a very good skill, being honest. So post 2.6, the area got buffed. Still probably not a great skill, but now they increased the damage by a fair portion, and they just made it easier to convert everything to cold. And since the spell is originally all physical damage now, you can scale it with a bunch of different... You can scale it hatred, which I think is the big difference. And all that damage, essentially, that's now added as cold damage is allows for penetration as well, because it's all cold, so you can stack it, or so all the penetration stacks. So your frostbite and your Wise Oak Flask and your Frost Bomb and stuff like that. So I think the skill is going to be pretty good for 3.0, and this is just demonstrating the area. So right now, I'll go into the passives. I have Blast Radius and Amplify with some area of effect nodes. And we'll just test it out like this. I'm going to keep my character in the same spot. So it's pretty decent, as you can see. We're getting well beyond the headstone thing over there. Actually, no, I'm going to go back a little bit here. And yeah, so you can actually, I'm just going to come back to that guy. So as you can see, pretty decent radius. Now, oh, that's with Carcass Jack in, sorry. So we'll take out Carcass Jack. We'll see. Still pretty decent radius. The reason why I wanted to make this vid actually is because I got the Carcass Jack. I don't really have it linked or anything, but so you can see you lose a fair amount of radius. So just swap it back in again. So Carcass Jack is pretty decent. The real buff to this though has been the increased area damage. It's pretty. I think it was like 20 before, or maybe even 12, and now it's like has a max of 50, so it's pretty good. And especially considering that CI is basically in the dumpster for any type of build like this, because of how Leech works now and stuff like that. You're going to be using life-based chest, and CI is a fairly Carcass Jack is a fairly decent life-based chest. So yeah, take this off. Actually, you know what, we'll keep this in and we'll put area effect in. That's what we'll do. So the area of effect is quite large. Pretty huge. And this isn't even a fully leveled one. This is level 9, so it'll get even bigger than this. Not that much bigger, but it'll get a little bit bigger. I think it's only like 9% more. It's probably like 45 area total or something. So let's test it without Carcass Jack, but with the area gem in. Pretty decent. And now we can do some tests with conc effect in, so we'll remove the area. This is without Carcass Jack. This is with Carcass Jack. Can't really notice much of a difference. So yeah, I would say probably you don't really need to use area with this anymore unless you're planning on swapping in conc effect. I'm gonna have to test more in the next phase of the beta, because normally I'd say there's probably gems you can swap in that are like similar DPS to conc effect. And you basically, so that basically means that you wouldn't need to have area, you wouldn't need to use conc effect at all, right? If you can get similar DPS without it. And you wouldn't really have to worry about using an area gem, because the area is pretty good without the area gem, as we can see if we take out conc effect. The area is pretty good without it. But the problem is that conc effect might actually increase the damage by more than we think, because when you reduce the area that Glacial Cascade is operating under, the amount of hits you get in the same target can go up, because there's more overlap in like the hit boxes of the actual gas cascade. So when the cascade is sent out, there's basically certain spots on the actual flow of ice that are considered like the hit boxes. And when you put conc effect in, it's going to narrow that so the boxes are going to overlap more in some cases. Now this might not be as big of a deal on like some bosses that have a large hitbox already, but if conc effect can like get you extra hits, then not only are you getting the more damage from the gem, which is substantial, but you're also getting an entire another hit of the spell, and the spell is going to be able to do quite a bit of damage when you're decked out late game. So conc effect could still be a really good gem for this, so I'm going to have to test it in more detail. I know that kind of was the case in prior to 2.6. I actually had a Glacial Cascade build where I got it's like level 94 or 95. I think it was like Ascendant at the time. This is before they nerfed Ascendant. Um, and I noticed that conc effect I think was giving me extra hits. But in that case, it was a much easier decision to make because for Glacial Cascade to even be viable on trash, you needed to use increased AoE because the AoE itself was dumpster trash. So what you would do is you would just swap in conc effect for the boss, and it would be very simple. But in this case here, you might be better off just using another gem entirely. It really just depends. You could always just use another gem entirely and then swap in conc effect for that gem when you get to a boss. So I'm going to play around with it a bunch on beta, even though this probably isn't going to be the first character that I'm going to make, because I'm probably going to make a character that is going to do a lot of farming, because I'm going to try and get a decent amount of currency, and then I'll try and remake this character and test it with having a lot of options. So yeah, that was just a basic test of just so you can get like a rough idea of the radiuses of Glacial Cascade. I would say you pretty much don't need a Carcass Jack or the Area Gem for it to really be viable now. But a Carcass Jack is probably going to be the best chest for you anyways, because just of the damage on the chest and the health and the resists. It's a pretty good chest overall. Not to mention, I think if you're probably not going to be able to make use of the energy shield, right? So having like a high hybrid chest, a high energy shield hybrid chest, isn't really going to do much for you in a lot of cases. And on top of that, if you're having to choose between armor or evasion in small amounts, I'd probably always pick evasion, because I feel like armor is still pretty useless. They haven't really done anything to buff armor. And evasion has always somewhat been good as long as it's not like the only thing that you're relying on. So you get a decent chunk of HP and you have a little bit of evasion from your chest, maybe from some other gear slots, and you'll probably be good to go. Also, just about the build, you're not going to need to use Hymn Sorrows if you get the lab enchant. I'm just using these right now because we don't have access to Merciless or Uber lab enchants, so yeah. But thank you very much for watching, and look out for more content. I'm going to be making a lot more stuff now that the phase 2 of the beta is going to be in full swing, and we'll actually have all our ascendancy points, so keep an eye out in the future. See you guys later.